The state of childcare is in crisis. There is a crisis for American children, their families, and the childcare workers.
Is this because parents are not doing their part?
Parents are more than doing their part. It's very difficult for families to afford it. There has been a childcare shortage for years. And at the same time, the childcare workforce, most of whom are all women, are subsidizing the system with low wages paid to them. It's not really working very well for anybody who's participating.
How does our childcare system compare in general to Western democracies and what they provide?
We have really one of the worst systems and worst levels of support for children and families compared to similar countries. We do very little to ensure people have access to childcare, that it's affordable, that it's high quality, and that the people who are doing the work are also, well supported and able to pay their own bills.
We've kind of always thought of it as something that just individual families deal with.
For the most part, childcare has been left up to families to figure out on their own. And really, it ends up being a race to get to kindergarten, to get to public school for families to finally have some relief. It has really been seen as an individual responsibility.
If somebody said to you, a person who has spent her career studying this, what's the first thing we could do to help? What would you say?
I would say we have to really have a publicly funded early care and education system. We cannot make childcare work in this country for most children and families and for the people who are doing this work, continuing to rely on parents to shoulder the cost. If we funded our public school system and the way that we do childcare, our entire public school system would collapse, and we should find it unacceptable that our childcare workforce really can't even afford, in many cases, to support their own families.
The argument on the other side is, hey, this is something we've never done. The deficit is terrible. Nobody wants their taxes raised now. Why in the world would we ever start funding something like this?
In this country, there is a history of investing in childcare. It just has not been sustained. We know coming throughout World War II, for example, the federal government made a huge investment in something that was similar to a universal childcare system.
So that Rosie the Riveter could go to work.
So that Rosie the Riveter could go to work. That's right.
Some of this seems like it would be addressed if President Biden's Build Back Better plan were passed. Do you think that could make a difference?
The Build Back Better plan would make a huge difference in childcare in this country. It would give us a childcare system that looks very different than our system today.